What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back. This is a 4-player fixed cards game. This time I'm playing with Risk4Ever, who is the yellow player, a Grandmaster, who is the orange player, and another player who just recently came back to Risk, who is the red player. It's always a challenge playing against Risk4Ever, whichever mode it is, whether it's 1 versus 1, progressive cards, fixed cards, you name it. He's really good with this game, so it's going to be a tough battle. With that being said, I'm not going to take it easy on him. I'm going to try my best to win, and may the best player win. So on his first turn, the orange player captured Australia, which will give him a slight early advantage in the early stages of this game. As for me, I'm going to go for South America, as I already have a lot of troops there and I can potentially capture it in my next turn. Out of all of the players, it looks like the red player is least fortunate because he needs to go through a lot of troops in order to capture North America, and he has to struggle to work for it. Whereas if you look at the orange player, he got to capture Australia with little to no resistance, even capturing it on his first turn. I was able to capture South America on my third turn, and it looks like Risk4Ever will be able to capture Europe right away in the beginning of this game. So theoretically, if I capture South America, which I just did, and if Risk4Ever is able to hold Europe without being challenged by the other players, then the red player will become the biggest target to be taken out, being that he's the fourth player. So it all comes down to which of the two players, either red or yellow, the orange player and I decide to team up against in order to take out, so that the 4-player situation will become a 3-player situation. The orange player and I have a lot of say in this early game as to which of the players, either red or yellow, will be taken out first. And the reason for this is because we're holding the smallest continents, so it's very easy to protect our continents, being that we only need to guard either 1 or 2 borders. And in addition, we were also the first 2 players to actually capture continents in the beginning of the game. So in the very beginning of the game, we are currently the front runners out of the 4 players, and we all decided to team up against the red player in order to take him out of the game, being that the 4th player is not needed for the balance of the game. We could have alternatively decided to team up against yellow. However, it was much more easy to just target the red player instead, at least for me. However, for the orange player, he decided to actually invade the yellow player into Europe. So he's basically signaling to me that he's willing to also target the yellow player and not just the red player in this game. So at this point in the game, I realized that I could take out the red player for his 4 cards, and then after taking him out, I would be able to trade in a set of cards, being that I would get 5 or more cards on my turn. So that's why I decided to go for the red player, because I could afford taking him out of the game without ruining the balance of the game. And that's exactly what I decided to do. So now that I took out the red player from this game, the 4-player situation is now a 3-player situation, where I'm holding South America, orange is holding Australia, and the yellow player is holding on to Europe. So I decided to try to team up with orange to attack the yellow player and weaken him so that potentially we could work to fully take out yellow from this game and have equal chances in the end game in the resulting 1 versus 1 situation. So instead of passively continuing to turtle in our continents and simply getting one territory per turn and basically not doing anything, I decided to work with the orange player in order to attack the yellow player and make him the target to be taken out so that both of us, orange and I, will have equal chances in the 1 versus 1 endgame. So seeing that orange and I were working to attack the yellow player, yellow decided to move his troops into North America to potentially attack me into South America. And looking back on this turn, I should have done something a little bit differently. Instead of simply getting a card and only partially protecting against yellow from invading me, what I could have done differently is I could have decided to fortify my border against yellow better, seeing the potential invasion threat from yellow. So now, instead of yellow being the potential target to be eliminated first in the 3-player situation, now either yellow or I will become the targets. So in this situation, I decided to try to capture Africa and decided not to protect my borders because I wanted to show to both yellow and orange, but especially yellow, because I was attacking him earlier, that I don't want to make any problems with him. I want to create an alliance with the yellow player. However, yellow was still probably angry with me from attacking him earlier and decided to invade me into Africa, into my unguarded Africa. If you're wondering why the orange player just decided to blitz those troops into me, the answer to that is I think he wants for yellow and him to team up against me so that they will have equal chances in the resulting 1 versus 1 situation instead of me and orange. How the tables have turned. Before, the orange player was teaming up with me against yellow, and now orange is teaming up with yellow against me. So this is a very dangerous situation for me because orange and yellow are continuing to work together to weaken me and potentially take me out once the time is right. So noticing their plan, I decided to become a very passive player and simply move my troops out from Africa into a neutral place in Europe. When 2 players are working together to team up against you, you really can't do much. You can't retaliate, you can't be aggressive, you can't attack either of the other players because they're going to destroy you. 2 against 1, you have no chances, unless you are already stronger than both of them combined. However, if you're not stronger than both of them combined, the best solution is to stay passive. By remaining passive, you go off the radar of the other 2 players. They stop worrying about you. They could potentially stop worrying about you. However, it looks like yellow is still continuing to attack me, even though I'm being passive. So now it's all up to the orange player whether or not he wants to continue teaming up with yellow against me, or if he wants to change his plans and start attacking yellow back, so that all 3 of us will have equal chances to win this 3-player situation. Fortunately for me, the orange player decided to go with the second option of attacking the yellow player back so that all 3 of us will have equal chances in this 3-player situation. Seeing that the orange player changed the way he was playing by attacking yellow, I decided to team up with orange so that we can work together to attack the yellow player, like we were doing before he decided to betray me and instead work with yellow to attack me. So it turned out that my strategy to become passive after seeing the orange player and yellow were teaming up against me actually worked out. Earlier in this game, when I and orange were teaming up against yellow, what the yellow player did was he decided to attack me and then try to make me the target. So that's one option to deal with being targeted by two players, is to try to change the target from you to another player by making them weaker than you. Alternatively, the second option that you can use to not make you a target is to actually become extremely passive, which is the choice that I decided to use, and so far it has been a success in making me neutral towards the other players. In fact, I was able to create a very strong alliance with the yellow player by allowing him to hold Africa and South America while he allowed me to hold Europe. And when this situation happened, instead of staying passive and being a passive Australian turtle, what the orange player decided to do was he decided to attack both yellow and I into our continents. If you can see the way that we are currently defending our continents, I have my biggest army in Ukraine. The yellow player has one of his biggest armies in the Middle East, which shows that we are basically working to team up against orange and basically not guarding against each other, but mostly, if not fully, guarding against the orange player, which shows that we have a very strong alliance. When the orange player decided to move into Africa, I decided to attack the orange player into Australia, fully capturing it right away. How the tables have turned once again. This time, I'm working with the yellow player to attack the orange player, and together we can be the best allies ever to deal with this savage of a orange player, the nuisance that keeps on attacking us and not letting us hold our continents. And currently, my plan to team up with yellow is going successfully. Together, we can work to attack this pest of a orange player so that we can eventually take him out and then have equal chances in the resulting 1 versus 1 situation. And on my last turn, I was willing to attack the orange player with a smaller army so that I could show to the yellow player that I'm willing to team up with him to attack orange, and we can have equal chances in the endgame. So if I was the orange player in this situation, he kind of has two different options. He can either try to become passive and attack the other players in this game and target the other players so that they become the target instead of him, which is the exact same thing that yellow did in the beginning, where he attacked me into South America and made me the target. That's one option. Or the second option is just to become super passive so that the yellow player can capture Africa, and then I will be forced to attack the yellow player. Instead of that, he decided to take the first option of attacking yellow and then making him the target in this game. However, that was a mistake in this game because he should have noticed that at this point, yellow is still working with me to attack him. So, seeing that the alliance between me and yellow is still quite strong, the orange player should decide to become more passive. And seeing that his decision to become aggressive and target yellow didn't work out like it did work out for yellow when he tried to attack me into South America back then, what the orange player should do in this situation is become much more passive and allow the yellow player to expand, capturing Africa, so that I will be forced to attack yellow. However, instead of being more passive, the orange player decided to break through South America, which was the biggest mistake of his life because it allowed me to take the game into my hands, taking out the yellow player for his 5 cards, so that after taking him out, I will get 8 cards, which will allow me to turn in 2 sets. And after taking out yellow, getting his cards, turning in my 8 cards for 2 sets, I will be able to get the attacking advantage against orange on the big blitz roll. And even if I had lost the big attack, after taking out the yellow player, I had 86 troops to orange's 38 troops. Plus, I have 3 cards now, and orange has 2 cards, meaning that he can't do anything, and I have won this game. Good game to everyone who played, and thanks for watching.